We had a Wall Street Journal breakfast here in Washington on Tuesday talking about U.S. policy in Asia, which is going to be an increasingly important topic of conversation in months ahead. Inevitably, the conversation turned to the question of North Korea, its nuclear program, how big a threat that is posing to the U.S. now, and when it'll be a problem that Donald Trump, the new president, will have to deal with. Here's what Adam Schiff, who's the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, said about that North Korean threat.
Well, I think that realistically we have to expect that they'll have that capability within the next few years. And it could be shorter, could be longer, but nonetheless on their current path, that will be a reality within this administration. So this, I think, will become one of the first and most pressing potential national security crises. We only have so much leverage over North Korea. China has the most, and even China's leverage is not complete. I wish I were more optimistic about fissures within the North Korean regime, or there being some chance of either reform or the emergence of opposition. That seems very unlikely in the near term. He's been quite ruthlessly successful in consolidating authority around him. So I think the key here is China. And where we do see China cracking down, we see it has a big impact on North Korea. And periodically they are willing to crack down. I think there are always going to be limits to that because they will not crack down so much that it brings about a collapse of the regime with the prospect that I mentioned of a unified peninsula or massive refugee flows into China. But nonetheless, I think there's a great deal more China can do, will be willing to do, if they feel that the costs of inaction on their part are too high. And the only way I think we really have leverage is through expanding our military presence, but also through what we did with Iran, and that is the imposition of secondary sanctions, which will have an impact on China. But if we can't get Chinese cooperation otherwise, I think that's a step we should take.
So those are some pretty blunt words. You can read more about them and other topics we discussed on WSJ.com. Also see some clips of our conversation there.